If I tell you that, I'm robbing you of the hours of fun you could have for the magical rootin' tootin' low price of $24.95.
The Big Bang Theory is packed with TV moments burned into our memory, but the faces behind those iconic geeks almost looked wildly different. Imagine if the Science Squad had totally fresh personalities and quirks. Here are 15 surprising casting near misses that could have rewritten sitcom history, counting down to the weirdest of all. Number 1. Jim Parsons almost didn't audition at all. Let's go back to a pivotal moment behind the scenes of The Big Bang Theory. Jim Parsons, famously known for bringing Sheldon Cooper to life, actually almost skipped the audition that changed television comedy. The year was 2006, and Jim glanced at the script, feeling the role of Sheldon, a genius with quirks to match, was impossible to nail. It was only after some gentle prodding from his friends and a determined nudge from his agent that Jim reluctantly agreed to give it a shot. That single decision set the trajectory for 12 seasons of quirky genius from 2007 onward. Imagine a world where Sheldon's precise cadence and neurotic brilliance belonged to someone else. Without Parsons' hesitant leap, the landscape of sitcom history would be missing one of its most iconic performances. Sometimes all it takes is one encouraging voice to rewrite everything, and that was just the first twist in the Big Bang Theory's casting odyssey. Number 2. Jodi Lyn O'Keefe. Considered for Penny, imagine the sound of a casting call echoing down the Warner Brothers lot in 2007 as producers search for just the right Penny. For a moment, Jodi Lyn O'Keefe, a familiar face from Nash Bridges and Prison Break, stood firmly in contention. Her resume brought intrigue, but the vibe producers craved was pure Midwestern warmth with a flash of comedy. That was the secret sauce that Kaley Cuoco would eventually bring to life. They wanted a Penny you'd root for, someone who could disarm Leonard, Sheldon, and the gang with every smile. When Cuoco won the role, she injected that breezy comedic sparkle, making Penny inseparable from the show's heart. The switch altered not just her character, but the entire on-screen energy. If you listen closely to the early episodes, you can sense that ease, like a laugh track built right into the script. Next time you watch Penny banter at the Cheesecake Factory, remember there was nearly a much different neighbor across the hall. Number 3. Brian Posehn auditioned for Howard. Imagine swapping that iconic rapid-fire banter for a much drier delivery. Because Brian Posehn, familiar now as Bert Kibler, actually auditioned for Howard Wolowitz. Early casting sessions for The Big Bang Theory in 2007 considered Posehn for the role we now firmly associate with Simon Helberg's hyperactive charm. Yet, it was Posehn's towering presence and slow-burn wit that gave the producers pause. Next to Johnny Galecki and Jim Parsons, his frame and energy didn't quite blend in with the show's tight-knit, offbeat circle of nerds. Instead, Simon Helberg's smaller stature and whirlwind comedic rhythms brought Howard to life as the group's irrepressible flirt and accidental hero. These subtle differences helped create the rhythmic, mismatched harmony fans adored. Sometimes one casting curveball changes a show's future. Just close your eyes and imagine Howard's legendary impressions delivered in Posehn's deadpan. Number 4. Kate Micucci nearly played Amy. On the shortlist for Amy Farrah Fowler was none other than Kate Micucci. Before she showed up as Lucy in Season 6, Micucci came close to wearing the signature cardigans and glasses of Sheldon's future soulmate. The producers had a tough decision. Micucci's quirky style made her a standout. But when Mayim Bialik auditioned, that perfect storm of deadpan delivery and scientific smarts sealed the deal. Bialik stepped in as Amy at the end of Season 3 in 2010, quickly becoming a fan favorite and reshaping Sheldon's world. But Micucci didn't disappear. When she made her debut as Lucy, Raj's shy and text-loving girlfriend, she fit right in with the show's offbeat humor. That brush with a lead role didn't go unnoticed. Fans still imagine how different The Big Bang Theory might have felt if Amy had Micucci's peculiar spark. Sometimes the near misses make for the best what-ifs in sitcom lore. Number 5. Josh Meyers auditioned for Leonard. You can almost hear the audience laughter. Imagine a different Leonard shuffling into apartment 4A. During pre-production for The Big Bang Theory's first season in 2007, the creative team auditioned Josh Meyers, the sitcom star you might recognize as Randy from That 70s Show. Producers watched as Meyers tackled Leonard's scenes, bringing a broader, jokier energy to the part. But when Johnny Galecki stepped into the role, everything clicked. His subtle delivery, anxious charm, and gentle nerdiness perfectly anchored the chaos swirling around Sheldon and Penny. Instead of big gags, Galecki brought a quiet vulnerability that grounded the show. It's fascinating to picture Meyers in those classic hallway debates with Jim Parsons, or navigating Leonard's on-again, off-again saga with Kaley Cuoco as Penny. Yet, it's Galecki's Leonard we remember, timid, hopeful, and always a little neurotic. Sometimes a single casting choice shapes everything, and The Big Bang Theory found its central gravity just in time. Next, we'll step deeper into the weird science of this sitcom's casting history. Let's pause for a second. Can you imagine Josh Meyers as Leonard Hofstadter? Which Big Bang Theory casting almost choice surprises you most? Share your favorite alternate universe casting below, or tell us which character you can't picture any other way. Number 6. Sara Gilbert considered for Penny. Imagine Penny's laugh with just a bit more edge. Before Kaley Cuoco claimed the part, Sara Gilbert, forever remembered as snarky Darlene from Roseanne, was actually up for the role of Penny on The Big Bang Theory in 2007. Producers brought Gilbert in for chemistry tests, and while her timing was impeccable, sparks flew not in the main romance, but in rapid-fire showdowns with Jim Parsons' Sheldon. The result? Gilbert didn't become the girl across the hall, but instead found her groove as Leslie Winkle, a recurring character with razor wit and a knack for trading barbs with Sheldon. She carved out her own legacy among the show's quirky scientists, delighting fans for multiple seasons, starting with her first appearance in 2007. With each sharp retort, she reminded us that TV magic often comes from choices behind the scenes that nobody saw coming. Sometimes the almosts, the what-ifs, become just as beloved as the roles themselves, setting the stage for more surprises around every corner. Number 7. Simon Helberg auditioned for both Sheldon and Leonard. Picture Simon Helberg in the audition room, volleying lines back and forth, vying for the roles of Sheldon and Leonard. Before he became the beloved Howard Wolowitz on The Big Bang Theory, Helberg actually tried out for both of the show's leads. The producers caught something intriguing in his comic timing, but it wasn't quite right for the offbeat genius of Sheldon or the sweet charm of Leonard. Instead, they saw a spark that was perfect for the show's odd man out, the wildly inappropriate yet somehow lovable Howard. When the series debuted on CBS in 2007, Helberg's quick wit and animated delivery let him carve out a unique space, turning Wolowitz into a character who was sleazy on the surface but surprisingly sincere inside. His presence proved the power of perfect casting, even when it comes from unexpected auditions. Sometimes being the third wheel means stealing the whole scene, and Helberg's Howard would do exactly that, episode after episode. It's a reminder that the road to sitcom stardom is rarely a straight line, and that every awkward audition leads to the perfect TV moment. Number 8. Jim Parsons was almost rejected for Sheldon. Imagine The Big Bang Theory without Jim Parsons as Sheldon Cooper. Hard to picture, right? In 2007, producers found themselves facing this very possibility. When Parsons first auditioned, he delivered a cold read so precise and quirky, the casting team questioned whether such a performance could ever be sustained. In fact, executive producer Chuck Lorre once confessed that he doubted anyone could keep Parsons' unique cadence and timing alive across hundreds of episodes. But it was Parsons' second audition that sealed the deal. He nailed every line, every tick, leaving no room for doubt. That moment was so electric, they abandoned all plans to keep searching. Jim was their Sheldon, no question. Parsons' delivery quickly became the comedic blueprint for the entire show, setting the tone for a cultural phenomenon. Without that perfect audition, television's most iconic theoretical physicist might have belonged to someone else. Sometimes all it takes is nailing the right moment to change TV history. Number 9. Kunal Nayyar almost played Howard. Picture this. Kunal Nayyar, the future Raj Kuthrapali, once stood under those hot casting lights reading not for the shy scientist, but for Howard Wolowitz himself. When auditions for The Big Bang Theory kicked off in 2007, Nayyar's script was dotted with that signature, offbeat Howard silliness, a glimpse of what might have been. But as the tapes rolled, Simon Helberg emerged with the perfect blend of awkward bravado, nailing the wannabe astronaut's comic timing. Meanwhile, Nayyar's unique energy felt just right for Raj, sweet, painfully relatable, and magnificently awkward in every group scene. This casting twist, just a single audition's difference, helped create the lightning-in-a-bottle chemistry that fans came to love at every Cheesecake Factory lunch or comic shop hangout. It's a quirky what-if, a moment where swapped scripts nearly changed the show's fate. Sometimes the magic is in the mix, and this one made The Big Bang Theory sparkle for 12 hilarious seasons. Next up, another role that came heartbreakingly close to being someone else's. Number 10. Alaina Huffman, nearly cast as Penny. Here's a twist behind the casting doors. Before Kaley Cuoco stole hearts as Penny, producers seriously eyed Alaina Huffman for the role. If you know her from Stargate Universe, you'll remember her for a commanding presence and tough girl vibe. Huffman's audition came after the original pilot, and producers loved her bold, confident spin on Penny. But when Kaley Cuoco walked in, her easy charm and natural warmth instantly drew the team in. The balance tipped in favor of an approachable girl next door, and Penny became someone audiences could root for week after week, starting in 2007. It's wild to imagine how Penny might have changed. Sharper edges, maybe more sass, had Huffman been cast. Yet thanks to Cuoco, Penny's laugh, quirks, and heart became the emotional anchor on The Big Bang Theory's 12-season stretch. Think about it. One actress, one read, and sitcom magic could have looked completely different. But as the credits rolled, Cuoco's Penny is who we all cheered for. Let's see who else was nearly part of the iconic crew. Number 11. John Ross Bowie auditioned for Leonard. Picture John Ross Bowie, best known as the lisping troublemaker Barry Kripke, nearly taking center stage as Leonard Hofstadter. During early casting for The Big Bang Theory in 2007, Bowie read for the lead. His audition, brimming with quirky energy, made quite an impression on the producers. But instead of fitting into Leonard's neurotic, lovable everyman shoes, the team saw a different potential. They cast him later as Kripke, giving him a scene-stealing run as Sheldon's nemesis starting in Season 2. While Johnny Galecki ultimately embodied Leonard with heartfelt awkwardness, Bowie's offbeat delivery and sharp timing turned Kripke into a fan favorite, even if he popped in only occasionally. That sense of what might have been lingers, a testament to how just the right actor in just the right part creates TV chemistry you cannot script in advance. Next time you hear Kripke heckling across the physics lab, imagine how different the laughter might have sounded if John Ross Bowie had answered the call as Leonard. Number 12. MacKenzie Meehan as the first Bernadette. The world nearly met a very different Bernadette on The Big Bang Theory. In the search for a pint-sized powerhouse to play Howard Wolowitz's love interest, MacKenzie Meehan actually auditioned for the role before Melissa Rauch entered the scene. Producers saw potential in Meehan, but after trial readings, something just didn't click. The character needed a microbiologist with maximum fire, and it was Rauch's unique, high-pitched delivery in 2009's Season 3 that changed everything. Her performance was instantly memorable, transforming Bernadette into a fan favorite with just the right mix of sweetness and sharp wit. That decision didn't merely shape a character, it became a defining moment for the series, elevating the ensemble and ensuring that Bernadette stood out in every scene. It's a reminder that sometimes the perfect detail, like a voice, can change television history. The lab coat fit perfectly, and the rest is sitcom gold. Onward to more surprises hiding in the audition room shadows. Number 13. Johnny Galecki, originally considered as Sheldon. Try to picture Sheldon Cooper with someone else's nervous energy. In the very beginning, Johnny Galecki was actually offered the role of Sheldon, but Galecki saw himself better reflected in Leonard's shy, neurotic heart. He asked to read for Leonard instead, an honest gut feeling that changed everything. The show's creators, Chuck Lorre and Bill Prady, agreed and let Johnny step into Leonard's sneakers. That decision opened the door for Jim Parsons to create Sheldon as viewers now know him, quirky, rigid, and brilliant. Parsons' performance would earn him 4 Emmy Awards by 2014, but it was the early honesty of Galecki's request that gave The Big Bang Theory its true balance. When the pilot aired on CBS in 2007, fans met Leonard as the group's everyman anchor. The chemistry between Galecki and Parsons became the show's heartbeat, making Wednesday nights in living rooms everywhere a bit geekier and a whole lot warmer. Sometimes it's the smallest casting choices that set off the biggest chain reactions. Number 14. Amanda Walsh as the original Penny, Katie. Imagine a different neighbor walking across the hall in The Big Bang Theory's earliest days. In the unaired 2006 pilot, Amanda Walsh, a Canadian actress known for her spunky on-screen presence, played Katie, not the gentle Penny we know. Katie was rough around the edges, sarcastic, and a far cry from the wholesome girl next door who would define the series. When CBS tested the pilot, feedback was clear. Viewers found Katie too abrasive and hard to root for. The creators went back to the drawing board, ultimately casting Kaley Cuoco, whose effervescent warmth transformed Penny and rewrote the show's DNA. That tone shift helped make The Big Bang Theory a runaway hit starting in 2007. Amanda Walsh's original role faded into sitcom trivia, remembered only by the most devoted fans. Sometimes one small casting choice can change television history. As laughter drifts down the hallway, we see how one lost pilot paved the way for TV legend. Number 15. Kevin Sussman auditioned for Sheldon. Imagine the show with a different Sheldon. Before comic book Stewart became a fan-favorite underdog, actor Kevin Sussman actually auditioned for one of television's quirkiest brainiacs. In the lead-up to The Big Bang Theory's 2007 premiere, Sussman read for Sheldon Cooper, bringing his trademark deadpan timing and an understated levity to the role. Producers listened closely, but Jim Parsons' jittery genius and vulnerable oddness ended up defining Sheldon and anchoring the series for over a decade. Instead, Sussman joined a few episodes later as Stuart Bloom, turning the lonely comic shop clerk into the heartfelt outsider audiences couldn't help but root for. It was a case of casting kismet, two actors gunning for the same role, each finding their signature lane. The show's chemistry would have been completely different without Parsons as the central neurotic and Sussman floating around the periphery with subtle sadness. Sometimes what seems like a second choice becomes the perfect piece of the puzzle. One smart split-second decision, and you have the tone and teetering friendships of sitcom history. And with that, the shop lights flicker, another chapter turns, and we find ourselves wondering about the many what-ifs behind the scenes.